Greetings, I'm Jason and welcome to my comic book reviews. This week we have 11 books to review. They break down as 1 from Marvel Comics, 1 from IDW, 3 from Image Comics, and a whopping 6 books from DC Comics. So without further ado, let's get into those reviews. So the first book we're going to review this week is The Flash, issue number 30, which is the new creative team come on board. First, the writers, Robert Venditti and Van Jensen, do a great job of scripting this story. It's basically dealing with the aftermath of Forever Evil and trying to get Central City back on its feet, and Flash feeling that he's let the city down. That's basically, while at the same time putting things in place to set up our story. That's the basic premise of the book. I really enjoyed the story. The character felt consistent with what we'd read before, which was important, while at the same time setting him in a new direction. The art in the book is absolutely beautiful. Brett Booth, I think, if he keeps this level of consistency up, because he's not an artist I know regularly. I think he did a couple of issues of Justice League America, but not an artist I've usually seen. But I really liked his art here, and I think this guy could be for big things if he keeps, like I say, if he can consistently produce this type of art every issue. He's going to fast become one of my favourite artists. Yes, so like, all in all, this just is a really great issue of The Flash. That's all that needs to be said. Nothing really I can say negative about the book. I just really enjoyed it, and I put it down, and I was really excited to get the annual next week. So yeah, all in all, really good start place. If you've never read The Flash, this is a great jumping on point as it kicks off a whole new story, and I give The Flash, issue number 30, 5 stars out of 5. So next up we jump over to Image Comics, and it's Undertow, issue number 3. And yeah, this was another really good issue. The thing that I love most about this book is the way that the book is drawn and coloured. The art is really great, but the thing as well is how each environment has its own colour scheme. I think is really clever. And you could kind of say it's an obvious thing to do, but the way they execute it is really good. The story as well is full of great ideas. We introduced to a new character this one issue. We've got people tracking our heroes now. So you've got that coming up, that's building for the future. So yeah, all in, this was just another really great issue, and I'm really enjoying this book, and I give Undertow, issue number 3, 5 stars out of 5. So now we shift gears over to IDW, and it is Rogue Trooper, issue number 3. And this was a bit of a funny one. I enjoyed the issue itself, the story. I like the character of Rogue Trooper, and I find him a very sympathetic character. I like the world that they've got here with the Nords and the Southers and the war going on, and Rogue Trooper and this mystery of what happened in the Court Zone, and you know who betrayed them, and exactly how everything went down, that the mystery that they're building. So I like a lot of the pieces in play here. I did feel that, like, we've got these people that are trying to bring Rogue Trooper in while he's going around helping people, and I did kind of think this could have gone on for a bit longer, of them tracking him and just keep missing him. So to have them meet now, I felt that was a bit quick. And some of the characters, I kind of like how the second half of the book goes. Everybody kind of just stands back, and I would have thought, with all what had just gone down, somebody would have stood up and stepped forward. The art at times I did find confusing, but like I say, I think the central story is good, and I think the mystery is good. But there's something about this book for me that's not connecting, that while I'm enjoying it, it just isn't blowing me away. And so it's like I like it, but I don't love it. But hopefully, you know, as we get deeper into the story, that will come. And for now, for this issue, issue number 3 of Rogue Trooper, I'd give it 3 stars out of 5. So now it's back into DC as I review Aquaman, issue number 30, and this was another really good issue. Jeff Parker's done a great job with this book since we come back, and this was a flawless issue. It was really good. Mira is fastly becoming one of my favourite characters. I just love her character and how she backs Aquaman up, and yeah, so she's fast becoming one of my favourite characters. I like the main story of Aquaman dealing with this insane Hercules. while at the same time we've got bits in the background that are building up other stories for the future. And I think that certainly the future of this book looks very bright, as Jeff Parker is building loads of. You've got this mysterious doctor doing these experiments. We've got Orm and his people who are still loyal to him, and his eventual trial. We've got the forthcoming thing with Swamp Thing. We set up something for the future with Wonder Woman. So, like, all in all, this book is just really great at the moment, and a great time to jump on the book, because they're just beginning to set all this stuff up, and I think we're set in for a fantastic ride. And I give Aquaman issue number 30 a definite 5 stars out of 5. So, next up from Image Comics, we have 5 Ghosts issue number 11, and this book just continues to be a fantastic dose of fun. I don't think I've read an issue that I have not, and some level, enjoyed. Certainly, I think the first arc was the stronger, but it's still a fantastically fun book. It's just action, adventure, and it's fantastic fun. This island of dreams that they've landed on is really intriguing, and seeing what it does to the different characters is really interesting, and I'm really intrigued where this is going to go. There are some pages where we've got no dialogue, yet the action still keeps going, and the book keeps telling you a fantastic story. I love the flashback scenes. They're really well drawn, and the way that they're done, you can tell instantly they're flashbacks. But yeah, this book just like I say, I keep saying the word fun, and I think that is the word that really sums this book up the best. So yeah, I give 5 Ghosts issue number 11 a fun-filled 5 stars. So, getting back to DC now, we have Red Lanterns issue number 30, and this just continues the fantastic job that Charles Soule's doing with this book. So yeah, the basic premise of this issue, last issue we saw Bleeze return, surviving her encounter with Atrocitus, letting Guy Gardner and the other Red Lanterns know that Atrocitus is back. And Guy manages to piece together that Atrocitus is hunting down where the other rings went, when Atrocitus released all these rings, to build a new army of Red Lanterns to take down the original Red Lanterns. So Guy decides they need to find these rings first, which sets up a fantastic new direction for the book, as they're going to be, certainly that could carry them through the next year as they hunt down where all these rings have gone. So that really sets up something interesting, as there's this race on now between Atrocitus and the other Red Lanterns to get there first. There are also some really nice moments within the book between different characters. There's a really nice moment with Supergirl and Bleeze. And Bleeze, when I first read this book, way back at the beginning, the New 52, she was much more just of a character that was really just tits and ass. But Charles Soule's really added a lot of depth to her character and made her a lot more interesting because of it. And the budding relationship between her and Supergirl could be really interesting, and it certainly has me looking forward to what's going to happen there. The only slight downer with this issue, because everything about it was good. The story was really good. The art was good. The first lantern that they find, this woman who was a judge, that story is really interesting in itself. So the issue as a whole was really strong. The last page, however, we get this little bit that says, oh, if you want to read the rest of this, part 2 of this, you need to pick up Supergirl. That did piss me off a bit, because there was no warning. And okay, people say, well, it's on the internet, because I haven't even looked, so it may be on the internet that there's going to be this crossover with Supergirl. But, they have these 3 pages in the back each month, DC, that they put rubbish in, where it would have been a lot more useful to have a page saying, hey, look, we're going to do this crossover between Red Lanterns and Supergirl, and that's coming up the next issue. So at least you go into it with eyes wide open. It just really ended the book on a sour note that I had to go somewhere else to get the next bit. It would have been nice to know beforehand, and they have enough space to be able to tell you that, either an advert in the book to say, oh yeah, there's going to be this crossover coming up, or even, in the back of the book, I thought the whole idea of crossing over books is to increase people buying certain books. Well, if you don't get word out there that there's a crossover, how are people going to know to check it out? So yeah, I think DC really let this book down there, and it really, for me, ended the book on a sour note. My initial reaction was I was going to drop the book because I could see this becoming a regular occurrence, them crossing over with Supergirl, because Supergirl is now part of the Red Lanterns. And so I could see this regularly happening. But then, like, after I calmed down, I don't know at the moment what I'm going to do, because I really am enjoying Charles Soule's writing and what he's done with this book. But at the same time, I don't want a book that's going to cross over with something I'm not reading. So, but we will see. We will see how I feel next month. Give me, I've got 4 weeks until Supergirl comes out. See how I feel then. But at the moment, I am leaning towards dropping it. But I could easily soften and change my mind. But it's a shame that after a really good issue, that you had to have that negativity at the end. But yeah, other than that last page, the rest of the book I'm really enjoying. Charles Soule, I just brought so much life in the book. The art was really good as well, and I give Red Lanterns issue number 30 4 stars out of 5. So now, sticking with DC, we have Secret Origins issue number 1, where, what would another week be without a number 1? I think since 2011, when I got back into comics, I've seen more number 1 issues and read more number 1 issues than the rest of my life combined. There's just been an amazing amount. And this issue, in fact, Secret Origins was a book I was looking forward to. I like the idea of the book. I think it's something that's needed in the New 52, and it's something they needed from day one, really, to kind of set the stage for how people's origins were different. I certainly think it's something that was needed from them. The book itself, it's a $4.99 book, but you do get a lot more pages, or at least it feels that way. In there, you got 3 stories. We've got the origin of Superman, the first Robin, Dick Grayson, and Supergirl, all in the 1 issue. Out of the 3 stories, I enjoyed Supergirl the most. All the stories are pretty shallow, and that's probably because of the space. Superman, the things I wanted to know was, I wanted to know what happened to the Kents, because I know that they died in the New 52, that he didn't have them the whole time. So I wanted to know what happened to them, and what made him decide to become Superman and wear the outfit. And we don't get none of that. We get one kind of panel of them dead. It deals more with his parents sending him to Earth, and the Kents deciding to keep him. That's more the story than the fact of how does he become Superman. So it's pretty shallow and didn't answer the questions I wanted answered. The Dick Grayson one similarly is quite shallow, though it does give you a little bit more of an insight into his character. And then the final one, Supergirl, I enjoyed the most, but that's probably because I know the least about her character of all of them. So that's probably why I enjoyed that one more. I like the concept. I do think they need to maybe rethink it and have less stories in the book. Maybe even have just one character, so you can go a bit more in depth into the stories. But at the very least, it has to be 2, because 3 was too many, and the stories that didn't have enough content to make them interesting to long-time readers. I certainly think for new readers who are new to comics, I think Secret Origins would be a good book to buy, because you're getting the basic origins of these different characters. But if you've been reading them for a long time, I don't think there's nothing there, and I don't foresee myself buying issue number 2. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed with Secret Origins, and I would give issue number 1 3 stars out of 5. So now it's back to Image Comics with Lazarus issue number 8, and this book continues to just be brilliant. This issue we can finally see the stories coming together, because we've been following the Barretts and we've been following Forever Carlisle, but it's been very kind of unclear how these two characters, these group of characters are going to come together, and how the Barretts are going to connect with our main story. This issue we get the first clue of what is going to happen with that. So that was really cool. I really like Forever Carlisle as a character. I find her a very sympathetic character, and already somebody who emotionally I'm invested with, and really want to see her journey in this book and where her character is going to go. The art, as always, just really does a great job of setting the tone of the book, and does a great job of illustrating the character's emotions. And this was continues to be an absolute joy. Really recommend picking up the first trade of this, because it's a really good book, and I give Lazarus issue number 8 5 stars out of 5. So next up is one of the books I was looking most forward to this week. It is Justice League United issue 0 from DC Comics. And this was a bit of a mixed bag, this issue. The reason I was excited for it was because, you know, Martian Manhunter, Green Arrow, two of my favourite characters. Jeff Lemire, I really enjoy his writing. And the team based in Canada, I thought was a pretty cool concept, and different, because, you know, most teams are either based in America mainly, and that's understandable. You know, traditionally the comic companies have come from America, but it would be nice to have, you know, now we've got writers who are from all over the world. It would be nice to kind of tap into that and have different teams in different countries, which in itself can kind of set up different stories. This issue though, it was a bit of a mixed bag. I found the character of Arrow a bit odd. He seemed a bit more, you know, like Hawkeye than Green Arrow, with the way that he was like very jokey. And okay, I know maybe in his main book, he has a lot more serious stuff to be dealing with. But even so, it still felt, a bit too. It didn't feel like the same character, which is funny, because it's the same guy who writes both books. So that was a bit strange. I liked how the heroes come together in the story, though. I thought that was good, and how that all connects up. Plus, we've got this other character in the background who is developing her powers. But yeah, I liked how the team, it felt very organic and felt very natural how the team come together in this. I didn't like the art so much. Mike McCone tries to kind of ape a little bit the style of Sorrentino, the way he uses the red and white panels, but nobody quite gets how he does it. And I don't know if Lemire put this in the script, or if it was DC saying, oh, we want it to look like this. But I think McCone should have just done his own thing, because he trying to make it Sorrentino like didn't work, because he didn't quite get what they do. It's not a 0 issue for me. This definitely feels like an issue number 1, where we see the team coming together and setting up the story. To me, a 0 issue is what goes on before the main story. So like maybe how people get their power, how like Adam Strange came to be, how he discovers this place and his girlfriend goes missing, how this Canadian hero is coming to be. Stuff like that would have been 0 issue. This is the setup of the story, so it very much is a number 1, and I don't understand what the whole thing was with the 0. However, the end of the book did hook me, a bit of a surprise at the end. They did really hook me for next issue, and, you know, all in all, I think the story carried the book over everything else, and I'll definitely check out the next issue, but it have to get better to keep me on board. And I'd give Justice League United issue 0 3 stars out of 5. So the penultimate review this week is a book from DC Comics. It is Batman Eternal issue number 3, DC's new weekly comic, and this was another really strong issue. So, you know, 3 weeks in, and I'm really enjoying this series, and already we're just 3 issues in, but it always has an epic feel. We get one character gets introduced this issue who people have been clamoring to see return to DC Comics since the New 52 kicked off. I've never read this character before, so I don't have that same kind of emotional connection, but I am interested in seeing where that thread of the story is going to go. We then have the character who returned last issue, and he's causing all kinds of waves throughout Gotham City. He causes waves within the Gotham City Police Department, causes waves with the Penguin. So that's all the repercussions from that are really interesting. Batman is kind of trying to find evidence that Commissioner Gordon is innocent, but at the moment there's just like one piece he's missing that's gonna make the whole puzzle fit together. So yeah, the story itself is brilliant. I'm just loving it, and the art has remained really consistent. 3 weeks in has been really good, and yeah, this has been well worth it so far, you know, and hopefully it keeps this up, because yeah, it has been absolutely brilliant. You've also got a little bit of a mystery with the character that returned last issue, because a lot of characters you get have done stuff with to this guy, so you get the impression that there's going to be a bit of payback. So that's going to be interesting. We'll find out a bit more about that and see how that plays out. But yeah, so far so good, and I give Batman Eternal issue number 3 5 stars out of 5. Here we are, my final review this week, and it's my only Marvel book I picked up this week. It is Uncanny Avengers, and this book just continues to be awesome. Really enjoying this. We had last issue Kang and these people that he's gathered from all different kind of realities and different kind of dimensions, that he's brought together to help save the Earth. And he unleashes his plan on Havoc, and Havoc isn't completely buying into it, and Kang, something big happens that's going to make Havoc be part of the plan, as they need to gather the surviving members of the Avengers to make it work. We've got schemes upon schemes going on here. It's just a fantastic issue. The art of Daniel Acuna just continues to be awesome. He colours and inks his own book as well, and he just really adds a lot when he's on art with this book. And he's definitely got an artist I'm going to keep an eye out for in the future, because I really enjoy his art. Remenda is just full of crazy ideas, and this book has just been a really pleasant surprise, because there's not often with Marvel and DC books that they can kind of grab you with like, oh, I didn't see that coming. But they have here, and yeah, you can see it's all going to be timey-wimey, but I'm still really enjoying this book, and I give Uncanny Avengers issue number 18 5 stars out of 5. Well, thank you very much for staying with me to the end. Before I go, a quick little haul that I picked up yesterday at my when I was out and about with the wife. First up, I picked up X Factor issue number 71 from my comic shop. It was £3 in their back issues. I've recently really been enjoying all new X Factor. I enjoyed X Factor before that, but I came onto that book near the end of the run. So it's something I want to do. I want to go back and I want to pick up all the issues of X Factor for Peter David's run. And I know it's going to be a long thing, but it's a kind of thing, if I can pick up a few each month, eventually I'll get to my target. I saw my comic shop add the first one, issue 71, so I thought I'd pick that up. They also add issue number 73, which was only £1, so I picked that up as well. And I'll definitely be going back, picking up some more to try and complete that run. The other book I picked up was from a shop called The Works, and you may have heard other people here in the UK mention it on YouTube. It's always a shop worth checking, because they always have some comic related stuff in there, so it's always worth checking what stuff they've got in. And I picked this bad boy up, the classic era of American comics, and it goes through, it has an introduction in here, a foreword by Joe Kubert, so you get a bit of Kubert art in there, and then the book just kind of goes through the history of American comics, way back when, way back when. And yeah, it's a book. I don't know much about this era of comics, and I remember a video by Sleepy Reader, and he talking about Bill Finger. I think his name was Bill Finger. I certainly know the surname was Finger, and it just fascinated me learning a bit more about that era of comics, and it made me realise I didn't know much about that era. So I saw this bad boy in my comic shop. I was like, yeah, I've got to pick that up. Worth buying. It was only £6.99, so it didn't cost too much. So yeah, I'm chuffed with that. Looking forward to getting into that. So though that's my haul. Back down to business now. I will be back sometime next week. I'm hoping to do that review at last of my Marvel graphic novels next week. There'll be no haul video. I've got a meeting on Wednesday, so I'm going to get my comics on my way to the meeting. but by the time the meeting ends and I get home and have something to eat, it's going to be too late. So there'll be no haul video, but like I say, there will be at some point in the week a review of my Marvel Ultimate graphic novel collection, and then I will be back this time next week with another review video. So once again, as always, thank you very much for watching, and welcome to my new subscribers, and thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate everybody takes the time to watch my videos, give me them thumbs up, or even just to leave me a comment. I always greatly appreciate these things. So in closing, I've been Jason. This has been my comic book reviews. Bye for now.